Hey guys, and welcome to some glorious Immortal Empires early access gameplay. I am a rubber duck of war, leading the mighty forces of the Wood Elves, who always look a little bit haunting to me. There's something a little bit more magical about them compared to the High Elves and the Dark Elves, in my opinion. And today we're up against the Tomb Kings, led by Logic_EU, a fantastic multiplayer YouTuber. If you like my stuff, make sure to go check him out as well. And he's gone for a very standard competitive kind of meta Tomb King build. A bucket ton of shielded troops in the front, going incredibly wide, just skeleton spearmen and basic skeleton warriors, and then spamming the old cavalry and chariots. So you can see we have a load of horsemen on this flank, 3 units in fact, backed up by double skeleton chariots. There's a similar situation on the other side as well, so nice little bit of symmetry going on in this build. In the back, we do have the Chosen of the Gods looking to unleash their prowess upon the enemy, and Archon the Black with Spirit Leech. It seems like a Doom and Darkness. No, I lied to you all. It is in fact aspect of the Dread Knight. Not a bad pick whatsoever, of course, coming in with the Staff and the Gash, the Tomb Blade of Archon, and yeah, all the decent standard stuff you would expect. So you've probably seen this build quite a bit before if you are a kind of a long-time veteran from Warhammer 2. Very good stuff up against the Wood Elves, because Wood Elves are very good at taking down elite targets and annihilating them with overwhelming firepower, but you can't do that if there's this many shielded units on the battlefield. For myself, I've gone for some pretty solid stuff as well. We have Dryads dotted through the front here, looking to push forward as early as possible. We're putting a bit more emphasis on the flanks, though, rather than just directly in the middle, just in case my opponent went for a more defensive box style of approach, we could whip around quickly. We have Eternal Guard, and their job is to eternally guard the Glade Guard, who we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of in the middle here. They are indeed the Starfire Shafts. And up in the skies, we have the glorious Great Eagles. So we've got a little bit fancy here, and rather bring in the standard kind of Glade Riders to try to counteract the enemy and their skirmish, we've gone for a Great Eagle. And the idea here is hopefully to be able to pin in chariots. Not sure if it's going to work that well, but hey, double Eagle in the sky is always a lot of fun anyway. We also have a Spellweaver who for some reason has brought the Blessing of the Ancients. Maybe that will come into effect at some point, but I doubt it. She also has Flock of Doom, as well as the transformation of Kadon, which is a Great Eagle summon, unfortunately, not the Manticore summon, at least for the majority of Wood Elf casters. There is obviously the exception of Durfu. And then hidden in the trees, lurking and waiting in the shadows, are the Wardens here, the Regiment of Renowned Wildwood Rangers. And this is where our build gets a little bit of showbizness, a little bit of a, kind of flair, I suppose, compared to the standard stuff. They have the Guardians of the Wildwood, so when they're in a forest, they get bonus versus large. They're armor-piercing, anti-large, they're armor-sundering. They're a very fun and fancy unit. They are likewise incredibly expensive, and there's a lot of range power that the Tomb Kings can bring, so they're a little bit risky. Also in the front, going full Legolas mode, we have double Wave Stalker. Arazakonos is going to start getting popped, and I was pretty much expecting Archon the Black. He is very meta in this pick, and to be honest, in the majority of Tomb King builds, and he can really do quite a number with just spamming Spirit Leeches very quickly, as well as summons. So I brought the Wave Stalker as an attempt to counter him. It's a play you'll see quite often in tournaments. So we have Dryads pushing forward and then decide to fall back a little bit and take more of a defensive stance. And the amount of cavalry on display is a little bit scary for us here. Great Eagle is going to rotate to the right-hand side, getting ready to intercept the skeleton chariots where possible. Eternal Guard and Dryads are going to be rotating around to see them as well. Glade Guard open up fire into the skeleton warriors. Not going to be doing a huge amount of value, but that doesn't matter. We're just going to be trying to whittle down the enemy hordes. Dryads do now finally bomb rush forward. Look at the little glorious woodland sprites go crashing in to the Tomb Kings, ripping, biting, tearing, doing whatever they can to pull these troops limb from limb and break their bones and grind them into dust. In the back, we go for a bit of a risky play here. Now, the reason I do this is we swoop in the back with the Spellweaver to shut down the Boshopti, and then I come in with the Eagle summon in an attempt to bait out Archon and get a nice little kind of scrap upon him. Unfortunately, there's a load of cavalry has been brought back, and now my Spellweaver is going to have to waddle away for as long as physically possible. We do have a Great Eagle coming in here trying to bite Archon and distract him, and hopefully allow the Spellweaver to go back up in the skies. In the back, chariots have started to clatter into our flanks. Luckily for us, we do have that Great Eagle in reserve, pinning the enemy in place. And more horsemen, more warriors, everything is pulling through the gap, and you can see Glade Guard are in full retreat all across the right-hand side of the battle line. On the left-hand side, things are going a bit better, though. I was able to catch out one of the chariots in the trees, which my opponent wasn't able to spot there, and the Wardens have already killed 14 chariots, which is really impressive work. The other unit was able to get away, however. Glade Guard just about clinging on. We've moved in a Waystalker to intercept the enemy, and we've kind of formed a second battle line, though the Glade Guard are being pushed back. Chariots are going down in droves, and it looks like there's a couple of inactive units of cavalry in the distance, which need to get moving again. The Spellweaver is still waddling, still trying to get out of here. We've got a Great Eagle attempting to support and help, and another Great Eagle has indeed been summoned. I attempted to pull through the Dryads, but it just did not matter. This Great Eagle, despite their speed advantage and the fact that I was popping Loic's Blessing to make them 25% quicker, it just didn't matter. They were getting, like, staggered, I guess, maybe from Archon, and yeah, Spellweaver simply cannot escape, and I believe they do break here. Looks like the Chariots are starting to go down, though. The Great Eagles have done a really juicy job here. Dryads are beating back the Horsemen. It looks like there's some more summons coming down in the middle. The Bowshopty have indeed been summoned here, and the Glade Guard are under continuous pressure. Though we had a nice little pickup here. I really am impressed with the Waystalker holding back the Skeleton Warriors. Looks like the Archers have switched to their battle targets onto the Skeleton Chariots. We're currently getting down and dirty with the Eternal Guard. On this left-hand side of the battlefield, we have a lovely surround. We do indeed have the Wardens who have moved in, and these skeletons are dead. There's simply no way around it. The Wardens are far too elite and also pushed in with the Dryads for up to 90 kills right now. I certainly expect these Skeleton Warriors to go down into the dust and be forgotten to the annals of history. Glade Guard, 2 units have been able to fire relatively consistently here. They've used up a solid amount of their ammunition, which is pretty impressive. Looks like they are mainly focusing down at the enemy chariots and cavalry. Not a bad target priority, if I say so myself. Looks like the Glade Guard are attempting to fall back behind Dryads as well as Eternal Guard. They're not quick enough, though, which isn't something you often say about the Elves, but they weren't fast enough to get in back there, and it looks like the Horsemen will be able to shut them down. Big Arrows of Kurnos still peppering down Archon the Black, who's just going to be popping at Spirit Leech after Spirit Leech where possible. Not so good against enemy infantry, really, Spirit Leech. Better for those single entities. Probably wants to be targeted down at the Waystalkers. Looks like the Great Eagle is surrounded by Horsemen right now. It's going to be a slow fight, this one. Like, the Eagle is going to do probably better damage than the Horseman, but he doesn't pack the punch of something like a Manticore, so it is going to be a little bit of a struggle here. Looks like the Bowshopty in the back are doing some really nice damage, just focusing down the Dryads at the moment, and Horsemen are really bounding across the battlefield as well as the Chariots, once again swooping upon the Glade Guard, attempting to drag them down, but the Elves have been relatively stalwart, which is awesome to see. Eternal Guard do move in, and I love this colour scheme of the Elves. Very fancy stuff indeed. Glade Guard explode a chariot whilst on the move, marching gloriously into the chariots and indeed taking them down there. Although I don't want to get too clumped like this, as you can see my opponent doing some lovely focus fire with the Bowshopty, chosen of the gods. Those arrows splitting into the sky, a kind of piercing whistling sound as they pop elven skulls. So these bad boys up to 65 kills, and I don't have too much to take them down, unfortunately, having got my Eagles killed in the early stages of the battle. Looks like a Spirit Leech does go down on the Waystalker. This animation is freaking dope. I love it. I really love the improvements to the magic animations, and the UI in general in Immortal Empires, I think, significantly better. Looks like Eternal Guard are doing fine. Over in the distance, the Wardens are now up to an impressive 99 kills. Dryads up to 169, and yeah, these Skeleton Warriors again absolutely butchered them. They weren't able to do that much damage back realistically. So we've got a clump in the center here, which is doing relatively okay, and a clump in the far side. Bounce power is in our favor. Our Spellweaver was forced off the battle very, very early on, simply because she cannot get back up into the sky. The Waystalker is attempting to focus down Archon. My opponent is going to be lurking in the trees and using Archon to chase off the Glade Guard, which is a really smart pick because it's going to buy him just more and more time to save up Winds of Magic to spam Spirit Leeches onto the Waystalkers and attempt to break my leadership, because that's going to be the only way the haggard Tomb King forces are probably going to be able to see victory here. So the Great Eagle is going to finally beat these Horsemen. Looks like some Glade Guard did get in the mix as well. We have some Eternal Guard we can reactivate and move back into action once we spot them once more. And Chariots plunge into the deep of just the thick of the enemy, trying to jump on the Waystalkers and Eternal Guard. We have Dryads falling back, and the Chariots are going to start taking pretty heavy damage, you'd think, if they stick here too long, or otherwise they simply pull through. The Wardens are looking to perhaps intercept some Horsemen here. The Horsemen rather kind of lazily just try to go around the Spearmen and go, you know what, we're down to scrap this and actually fight it. And I think that's a big mistake by them. They now get surrounded by the Eternal Guard. It is indeed a trap, and we should be able to drag these guys down. Look how cool the Wardens are. Their capes are awesome, and they're really badass of the designs as well on their armor in general. Looks like the Horsemen are going down there, a limp death for them, and I think the cavalry plays have been pretty top-notch, but I guess kind of they're knackered by this point. They just want to go back to being dead. Skeleton chariots going to continue to cycle charge to their heart's content. We have a nice mass of infantry though, and the fact that Great Eagle is alive is pretty huge. It's very good at taking down chariots. Likewise, we have the Waystalkers who are just going to be popping 360 no-scopes into the skeleton chariots, looking to take them down. I'm going to be pushing aggressively here as well towards the bow shop T. They're nearly out of ammunition. We are going to have to spread our line a little bit so we don't take so many significant damage from those shots coming in. Yet another Spirit Leech goes down on the Waystalkers, who are attempting to drag low the chariots, and the chariots are down to 1,300 HP, still just about sticking into it though. They are going to be coming in for a charge on the Eternal Guard, who will gladly meet them in that action. It looks like they are going to get slowed down, probably just enough for the Eagle to once again catch up, and that is going to be a dead unit of chariots, just what my Wood Elf heart likes to see. And yeah, those chariots are certainly goners. My opponent attempts a Skeleton Warrior summon, but I'm simply going to ignore it. I don't have to fight this. I'm just going to push forward to the bow shop T instead and completely ignore this summon. If it was kind of intercepted in between the bow shop T and me, it would have been probably a bit more of a stumbling roadblock, but Arkan wasn't able to get that angle, unfortunately, and whip around the army in time. Great Eagle is going to be swooping once more. Very impressed with its durability in this battle. Dryads, of course, first ones into the action with their phenomenal speed. Jumping on top of the bow shop T, and now the Great Eagle comes slamming in. The Chosen, like, ground back on the ground, but is just about able to hold his nerve there. Great Eagle is picking at them, and the bow shop T will eventually go down, particularly with the Wardens getting nearby. Wardens can do some really nice damage to units like this. It looks like the Waystalker may indeed be caught here, but he pops a potion of speed, increasing his speed here and acceleration to get away from the enemy summon. We do get a lovely little air of effect here to try to keep the Chosen in the action, increasing their physical resistance and leadership, plus going for a bit of a last-ditch play here, attempting to terror out me in the middle. Not a bad little gambit there coming in by Logic, which is a decent play, but I think Balance Power is too heavily in my favor at this point. And you can see the Eternal Guard are going to drag down Arkan. We don't fear you, you fear us. And it is going to be a glorious victory for the Wood Elf host. Very well played to Logic, coming in with a really solid build. This is like just a straight classic Total War Warhammer 2 competitive build. Now it seems like it's going to hold up relatively well going in and transitioning it to Warhammer 3, but what he did not expect was the glory of the Wardens. Not actually the best damage value, 978, but 117 kills, and were incredibly healthy in the end. Certainly their value had no limits in this game. Waystalkers did okay as well. Great Eagle was a little bit clutch, 930 damage value, but really helped drag down those chariots, which were going to be a big pain in the butt. Glade Guard did okay, some units doing better than others, and there's not going to be any crazy damage value on any of my units, to be honest, because we're just up against, you know, tides of chaff and kind of crap coming at us, and any real value is going to be from Arkan or the Chosen of the Gods, but they really crumbled at the end rather than getting us that value. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a good fun one to cast. Oh my god, Arkan got 2,300 value. That's insane. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel for more glorious Immortal Empires and Total War content coming at you into the future. Feel free to leave a comment down below. I do enjoy reading through them all. And likewise, there's a load of links down below to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Until next time, guys, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.